Leo adjusted his flight suit as the small shuttle descended onto the surface of Zerithia. The planet was far from Earth, located at the edge of the known galaxy. Unlike the familiar planets humans had explored, Zerithia was alive in a way that made Leo feel both awe and fear. The sky shimmered in shades of violet and gold, with twin suns casting long shadows over the crystalline forests below. Strange birds with translucent wings glided in the wind, leaving trails of sparkling light behind them. Leo could not help but marvel at the beauty surrounding him. He had come to Zerithia for exploration, not for diplomacy. The Human Galactic Council had sent him to observe alien life and report back. But even with his training and experience, nothing could prepare him for the elegance and mystery of this place. As he stepped off the shuttle, the ground beneath him was soft, almost like velvet, and the air was filled with a sweet fragrance he could not identify. It was intoxicating, but it did not distract him from the task at hand. He needed to explore the area carefully. Leo carried a small device in his hands that scanned the environment for life forms and energy sources. The readings were unlike anything he had ever seen. Life was abundant, but it seemed interconnected in a way humans could not fully understand. Trees glowed faintly from within, and the streams sparkled as if filled with liquid light. Each step he took made him feel more connected to the planet, as though Zerithia itself was aware of his presence. After walking for several minutes, he noticed a large structure in the distance. It looked like a palace, but unlike any palace he had ever seen. Its walls were smooth and reflective, shining with colors that changed as he moved around it. Towers spiraled into the sky like giant crystal spires, and bridges connected different sections in a delicate web-like pattern. Leo felt a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. He had read reports of alien rulers, but nothing could prepare him for the grandeur of what he saw now. He walked closer, taking care not to make any sudden movements. As he approached, the massive doors of the palace slowly opened. Leo froze for a moment, unsure if this was a trap. But then he noticed a figure standing at the entrance. She was tall and graceful, with shimmering skin that reflected the sunlight in shades of blue and green. Her eyes were the most striking feature. They were large and luminous, changing colors as if they contained the light of the twin suns themselves. Leo could not look away. Princess Mira, as Leo would later learn, observed him with curiosity. She had never seen a human before. Her people were cautious about visitors from other planets, especially humans, who had a reputation for both courage and recklessness. But there was something different about Leo. He did not appear afraid, nor did he show arrogance. He simply stood there, fascinated by the world around him. That simple reaction intrigued her. Leo swallowed nervously. He had been trained to maintain composure in alien encounters, but the beauty of Princess Mira was disarming. He had to say something, anything, to break the tension. "Your eyes are gorgeous," he said without thinking. The words slipped out naturally, a mix of admiration and honesty. He immediately regretted speaking so casually. He had no idea how an alien would respond to such a comment. For a moment, Princess Mira froze. Her expression did not change, but her eyes flickered in a pattern Leo could not understand. The court and guards who had been silently watching from the shadows also froze. No human had ever spoken to the princess in this way before. Some guards shifted nervously, unsure if this was an insult or a bold gesture. Leo's heart pounded in his chest, but he kept his stance calm, hoping that honesty would be understood across species. To his surprise, Mira's lips curved into a faint smile. It was subtle, but it carried meaning. She took a step closer, her movements fluid and almost ethereal. Leo noticed the delicate patterns on her skin, the way her fingers seemed to sparkle in the sunlight. He realized that she was not offended. On the contrary, she appeared intrigued by his words. It was a reaction he had never anticipated. Mira spoke, her voice melodic and soft, yet powerful enough to fill the courtyard. "You are brave to speak so freely, human. Many would not dare." Leo nodded, relieved that he had not caused offense. "I mean what I say," he replied. "Honesty is important, even when words are difficult." She studied him silently for a moment, her glowing eyes scanning his face as if searching for truth within him. The guards relaxed slightly but remained vigilant. They had been trained to protect the princess at all costs, and humans were unpredictable. Yet they could sense that Leo was not an ordinary human. There was a quality about him that resonated with their instincts, a mix of courage, curiosity, and respect that set him apart. Even so, they watched carefully, prepared to intervene if necessary. Princess Mira motioned for him to follow her. Leo hesitated, then stepped forward. She led him through the palace gates into a vast garden filled with alien flora. Flowers of impossible colors swayed gently in the breeze, and streams of light ran like rivers between crystalline rocks. The air was cooler here, and the fragrance stronger, almost intoxicating. Leo could not help but feel that he had entered a world far beyond human imagination. As they walked, Mira spoke again. Humans are unusual. You speak without fear, and yet you do not demand. You are honest, yet cautious. I have observed many species, and none have shown such balance. Leo listened carefully, trying to understand her words. It was clear that she was testing him, observing his reactions to understand human nature. He knew he had to be careful with his responses, yet he also wanted to be genuine. I believe honesty builds trust, Leo said. Fear can stop you from learning, from understanding. If we are going to meet as equals, we must speak openly. Mira nodded, her eyes reflecting a mixture of surprise and respect. She had never met a being so willing to communicate across boundaries. Humans were often seen as reckless or aggressive, but Leo was different. He had the patience and clarity that few others possessed. They reached a small pond where the water shimmered like liquid glass. Mira paused, looking at her reflection in the water. Leo noticed that she seemed thoughtful, almost vulnerable. Your species has courage, she said quietly. I have watched humans in the histories of my world. You are known for many things, some reckless, some admirable, yet few can speak with such simplicity and honesty. Leo smiled, realizing that his simple compliment had opened a door. For the first time, Mira allowed herself a moment of curiosity without the weight of protocol. She studied Leo not as a human, but as an individual. Her people were trained to observe, analyze, and act with precision, but emotions were a mystery. She wanted to understand this human and what made him different. The fact that he could move her so subtly with one small gesture fascinated her. Leo, for his part, was equally fascinated. He had traveled to many planets, met countless species, and faced dangers he could never have imagined. Yet nothing compared to this moment. The beauty of Zerithia, the elegance of Princess Mira, and the subtle dance of understanding between them made him feel alive in a way he had never experienced. He knew that this encounter would change him, and possibly change the relationship between humans and Zerithians forever. The wind rustled through the garden, carrying the scent of alien flowers and the soft hum of life. Leo realized that every step he took here was observed, not just by Mira and her guards, but by the planet itself. Zerithia seemed aware of his presence, curious about this human who dared to speak openly and honestly. He felt a sense of purpose, a feeling that he had been brought here for more than exploration. Princess Mira finally turned to him, her eyes glowing softly. I wish to know more about you, human, she said. Not as a subject to observe, but as a being to understand. Leo felt a surge of hope and excitement. He knew that the journey ahead would be difficult, filled with challenges and unknown dangers. Yet he also knew that this moment was the beginning of something extraordinary. Leo nodded. I will answer your questions as best I can. I want to learn about your world as much as you wish to learn about mine. Mira studied him for a long moment, then gestured toward a pathway leading deeper into the palace gardens. Then walk with me. There is much to see and much to understand. Together, they moved forward, two beings from different worlds, beginning a journey of discovery, respect, and unexpected connection. As they walked, Leo could not help but glance at her eyes again. They were still mesmerizing, but now they carried something more than beauty. They carried curiosity, intelligence, and a willingness to see beyond the boundaries of species. He realized that sometimes, a single honest word could open doors that no diplomacy or weapon could ever reach. Leo followed Princess Mira through the shimmering gardens of the palace. Every step revealed wonders he could hardly have imagined. Strange flowers opened and closed as he walked past them, responding to his presence in a way that made him feel connected to the life around him. Tiny creatures with luminous wings darted through the air, leaving trails of sparkling light that reflected off Mira's flowing garments. The princess moved with grace, her every gesture precise, yet fluid. Leo tried to match her pace, feeling both nervous and fascinated. He had expected the princess to be distant, to speak in formal tones, or perhaps to treat him like a curiosity to observe. But Mira was different. She spoke with calm confidence, her voice melodic yet firm, carrying authority without arrogance. "Humans are bold," she said, glancing at him. "You speak in ways most of my people would never dare. There is honesty in your words that surprises me." Leo smiled, relieved to hear something encouraging. "I think honesty is the best way to start," he replied. "Without it, there can be no understanding." Mira's eyes widened slightly at his answer. She had expected clever flattery, evasive diplomacy, or perhaps fear. What she did not expect was sincerity. Her people had studied countless species from across the galaxy, and while many displayed cunning or cleverness, few could speak truth without hesitation. Leo's simple words held a power she had never encountered before. They reached a small clearing where a crystal fountain sparkled in the sunlight. The water did not fall in ordinary ways. Instead, it formed shapes and patterns in the air, twisting and turning before splashing gently into the basin below. Mira paused to watch the display, her fingers brushing lightly across the surface of the water. Leo watched her quietly, noticing the way the light played across her skin, highlighting patterns he had never seen before. He felt both admiration and respect. "You are observing carefully," Mira said without turning to him. "Most humans would only notice the beauty and not the patterns beneath it. You seem to understand more than you should." Leo shook his head. "I just pay attention. I want to understand your world, your people, and you. Observation is the first step toward trust." Mira turned to him, her glowing eyes studying his face. There was a moment of silence, charged with curiosity. "I have never met a human who moves with such patience," she said finally. "Your people are known for courage and adaptability, yet few show care for details, for understanding." Leo nodded. "We are often reckless in some ways, but honesty and care matter. They guide our actions when logic alone is not enough." Mira studied him closely, and for the first time, she allowed herself to show a hint of wonder. She had been trained to maintain composure at all times, but Leo's words stirred something unfamiliar. The garden seemed to grow quieter around them. Birds stopped their singing, and the wind slowed as if the planet itself was listening. Leo felt the change in the atmosphere, a subtle shift that made him realize Zerithia was more than a planet. It was alive in ways he could not fully explain. He wondered if the planet sensed the unusual bond forming between them. Mira seemed to feel it too, her gaze turning toward the horizon, thoughtful and distant. "You humans are unpredictable," Mira said after a while. "I have seen records of your history. You face dangers without fear, yet you speak freely to strangers. Few species could do what you have done today." Leo shrugged modestly. "We have to take risks to survive, to explore, and to understand. Fear is natural, but it cannot stop us if we wish to learn." Mira nodded slowly, impressed by his reasoning. As they continued to walk, Leo noticed guards observing them from a distance. Their expressions were tense, cautious. They had been trained to protect the princess at all costs, and humans were a species they could not fully predict. Yet even the guards seemed unsettled by Mira's reaction. She had never shown such interest in a visitor, and the guards were unsure how to act. Leo sensed their tension, but did not let it distract him. He focused on Mira, on learning more about her and the world she protected. "Tell me about Earth," Mira said suddenly, breaking the quiet. "Your world is far from here. I have studied it through records and images, but I wish to hear it from your eyes." Leo felt a spark of excitement. Few aliens asked for personal stories. Most relied on statistics and reports. "Earth is full of life and diversity," he began. "There are oceans and mountains, deserts and forests. People work together, and sometimes they fight. But there is always curiosity and a desire to understand. We create, explore, and try to improve. It is not perfect, but it is our home." Mira listened carefully, her head tilted slightly as she absorbed every word. "Your species values connection and understanding," she observed. "Yet you also have great power. That is a dangerous combination." Leo smiled faintly. It can be, but we learn and we try to balance our curiosity with responsibility. Mira's eyes seemed to glow brighter, reflecting the twin suns above. She had expected arrogance or perhaps fear, but instead she found humility and insight. The princess led him to a bridge spanning a sparkling stream of liquid light. The bridge was delicate yet strong, twisting in ways that seemed impossible. Leo stepped carefully, aware of the artistry and engineering behind it. Mira walked beside him with ease, her movements confident and fluid. He realized that everything in this palace, from the gardens to the structures, reflected a combination of beauty and precision. The princess's world was a perfect balance of art and logic. Your kind is rare among explorers, Mira said thoughtfully. You approach with respect, curiosity, and honesty. Others come seeking advantage or knowledge to exploit. You show none of that. Why? Leo looked at her, considering his answer. Because I believe understanding is stronger than fear. If we do not respect each other, no alliance, no peace, and no progress is possible. We cannot take what we do not understand. Mira studied him silently, clearly impressed by his reasoning. As they walked further, Leo noticed subtle changes in Mira's demeanor. She seemed more relaxed, her posture less rigid. There was a hint of amusement in her eyes, and her gestures had become less formal. Leo realized that his honesty and courage were affecting her. She had been cautious, reserved, and controlled, but his presence encouraged openness. It was a small victory, yet significant. Suddenly, Mira stopped near a grove of trees that shimmered with soft light. She turned to him, her expression serious. Many humans are unpredictable, and your actions here could cause tension among my people. Some may not understand your intentions. Leo nodded, understanding the gravity of her words. I am aware. I will act carefully, but I cannot hide who I am. Honesty cannot be faked. Mira studied him, her eyes reflecting approval and curiosity. I will allow you to walk freely, human, but you must be cautious, she said. My people are observant, and not all will welcome your presence. You must earn their trust, not demand it. Leo felt a surge of determination. I understand, Princess Mira. I will do my best to respect your world and your people. Mira's lips curved into a faint smile. It was subtle, but to Leo, it felt like a sign of approval and trust. They continued walking, and Mira began asking questions about human life, culture, and emotions. Leo answered openly, sharing stories of courage, curiosity, and discovery. Mira listened intently, fascinated by his experiences. She had studied human history, but hearing it directly from a human brought the stories to life. Each answer revealed a new layer of humanity, a complexity that her records had never captured. At one point, Mira paused to examine a small glowing flower. Your species values life and growth, she said softly. Yet you also face destruction and conflict. How do you reconcile this? Leo knelt to observe the flower, letting his hand hover just above it. We learn from conflict. We grow stronger and wiser when we overcome challenges. Life is precious because it is fragile. That is why we care for it. Mira nodded slowly, clearly impressed. As the day passed, Leo realized that the bond between them was growing. He was no longer just a visitor. He was a participant in a delicate dance of understanding and respect. Mira's curiosity had turned into genuine interest, and his honesty had earned a place in her thoughts. He could see the beginnings of trust, forming a rare and powerful connection that neither species could take lightly. Finally, as the twin suns began to set, casting golden light over the gardens, Mira led him to a terrace overlooking the palace. The view was breathtaking. Crystal towers reflected the colors of the sky, streams of light twisted through the gardens, and the air was filled with a soft, harmonious hum. Mira stood silently, allowing Leo to take in the beauty. You have done well today, human, she said quietly. Many would fail to understand the subtleties of my world, yet you have shown patience, honesty, and courage. These are rare qualities. Leo felt honored, knowing that her praise was sincere. Thank you, Princess Mira. I only wish to learn and to show respect. Mira studied him, her eyes glowing softly in the fading light. For the first time, she allowed herself a moment of vulnerability. I did not expect to meet a human who could affect me in this way, she admitted. Your presence is unusual yet welcome. Leo felt a mix of pride and humility. He realized that this was only the beginning. The journey ahead would be filled with challenges, intrigue, and discovery, but Leo walked beside Princess Mira as they moved deeper into the palace gardens. The sun had set, and the gardens glowed softly with bioluminescent plants. The light reflected off the streams and crystal towers, creating a magical atmosphere. Leo could hardly believe the beauty around him. Every step he took seemed to reveal something new, something alive and full of wonder. He tried to focus on Mira, who walked gracefully beside him. Yet he could not help noticing the subtle patterns on her skin that shimmered under the garden lights. Mira noticed his gaze and smiled faintly. You are observant, human, she said. Most visitors are distracted by the beauty of my world, but you notice its details. Leo smiled back, feeling a mix of pride and nervousness. I think details tell the story of a place and its people, he replied. Understanding comes from observing carefully, not rushing past. Mira nodded thoughtfully, clearly impressed by his reasoning. As they walked, Leo noticed subtle movements in the shadows. Figures appeared to watch them from behind trees and glowing plants. The palace guards moved silently along the edges of the garden, their presence calm yet alert. Leo realized that not everyone in the palace would be comfortable with a human walking freely beside the princess. Some might see him as a threat. He had to be careful and maintain both honesty and respect. You must understand, Leo, Mira said, breaking the quiet. Not all of my people welcome humans. Some see your kind as dangerous, unpredictable, or untrustworthy. Your presence here may create tension among them. Leo nodded. I understand, Princess Mira. I will act with respect, but I cannot hide who I am. I believe honesty and courage are stronger than fear. Mira studied him, her glowing eyes reflecting both surprise and admiration. Their path led them to a pavilion at the heart of the garden, a structure made entirely of crystal. The floor, walls, and ceiling shimmered in colors that shifted with the movement of the air. Mira gestured for Leo to enter. Inside, the pavilion was filled with exotic plants and softly glowing orbs of light. The air smelled sweet and calming, and a gentle hum seemed to vibrate from the walls themselves. Leo felt a sense of peace here, but he remained aware of possible dangers. Mira led him to a seat made of crystal, shaped like a flower in full bloom. Sit, human, she said. There are matters you must understand if you are to remain here safely. Leo obeyed, settling onto the seat and keeping his hands visible to show he meant no harm. Mira remained standing, her posture straight and formal, yet her eyes betrayed curiosity. There are those among my people who will not trust you, she explained. They may attempt to undermine your presence to create fear or doubt. You must be cautious. Observation and patience will serve you better than force or argument. Leo nodded. I understand. I have faced challenges before, and I know that honesty and respect can open doors where power cannot. Mira's eyes brightened, clearly impressed by his confidence and insight. At that moment, a servant entered the pavilion carrying a tray of food. The dishes were unlike anything Leo had seen. They glowed faintly and emitted a sweet fragrance that was almost hypnotic. Mira motioned for him to eat. Leo hesitated, unsure if it was safe. Mira noticed and smiled reassuringly. These are safe. You must nourish yourself if you are to think clearly. Trust is part of learning. Leo accepted the food, tasting flavors that were both alien and delightful. Each bite seemed to awaken his senses, heightening his awareness of the world around him. As they ate, Mira continued to explain the challenges he might face. Among my council, there are those who believe humans are reckless and dangerous. They may attempt to manipulate you to test your reactions. You must remain calm and true to your nature. Do not lie or deceive, for it will only create distrust. Leo listened carefully. He realized that his journey here would not only be one of exploration, but also one of diplomacy, requiring both courage and wisdom. After the meal, Mira led him to a balcony overlooking the palace city. The view was breathtaking. Towers of crystal reached high into the sky, connected by bridges that shimmered in the soft light. The city glowed with energy, alive in ways humans rarely experienced. Mira's eyes scanned the horizon, thoughtful and serious. This city is the heart of my people. Every action here is observed. You must remember that while I may trust you, others will not. Leo nodded, taking in both the beauty and the weight of responsibility. Suddenly, a shadow moved across the balcony. Leo tensed, ready for anything. Mira's hand moved subtly, signaling him to remain calm. A figure stepped forward from the shadows, a member of the council. His skin was pale with faint patterns that shifted as he moved. His eyes were sharp, filled with suspicion. "Princess Mira," he said formally. "Who is this human? Why does he walk freely in the gardens? This is unprecedented." Mira straightened, her voice calm but firm. "He is Leo, a visitor from another world. He comes with honesty and respect. He is not here to harm us." The counselor's eyes narrowed. "Humans are unpredictable. We cannot know their true intentions. Allowing him such freedom may endanger the palace and the people." Mira's expression remained steady. "I trust him. That is enough for now. His actions will speak louder than words." Leo could feel the tension in the air. The counselor did not leave, instead observing them closely, waiting for any sign of misstep. Leo remained calm, determined to show that honesty and courage could bridge the gap between worlds. Mira continued to guide him through the palace, showing him rooms filled with knowledge and history. Ancient artifacts, glowing scrolls, and holographic displays told the story of Zerithia and its people. Leo listened intently, fascinated by the depth of history and culture. He realized that this planet, while beautiful, was also politically complex. Trust was not freely given, and even small actions could have far-reaching consequences. As they walked, Mira explained more about her people. "Our society values observation, analysis, and understanding. Emotion is controlled and actions are deliberate. Humans, by contrast, act on instinct and courage. This can be dangerous, yet it can also create opportunities. You must learn to balance your nature with ours." Leo nodded, appreciating the advice. He realized that he would need both intelligence and human intuition to navigate the challenges ahead. Later, Mira led him to a quiet corridor lined with glowing panels. "There are factions among my people," she explained. "Some may attempt to manipulate situations for their benefit. You must remain aware. Their actions may be subtle, but their influence is powerful. Trust only those who have earned it and remain true to yourself." Leo absorbed her words, understanding the subtle warning. He had faced challenges before, but this was different. Here the stakes were not only personal but also political and interplanetary. As they walked, a subtle tension grew in the air. Guards whispered among themselves and shadows moved at the edges of their vision. Leo could sense that something was brewing, though he did not yet know what. Mira remained calm, her eyes sharp and alert. She had faced these challenges before and knew the importance of observation and patience. Leo realized that he would need to adopt the same mindset if he hoped to survive and gain trust. They reached a large chamber where the council often met. The room was circular, with a high ceiling that shimmered with light. Holographic displays floated in midair, showing maps, energy flows, and records of past events. Mira gestured for Leo to observe. "This is where decisions are made," she said. "Every action, every word is analyzed. Humans are rare here, and your presence will draw attention." Leo nodded, understanding the weight of her words. He had to be careful, honest and courageous in equal measure. Suddenly, one of the counselors spoke from the shadows. "Princess, allowing him access may destabilize our order. You risk both your position and the safety of your people." Mira's gaze was steady. "I am aware. Yet trust must begin somewhere. Leo has shown honesty and respect. His actions will determine the path forward." The counselor's expression hardened, but Mira did not waver. Leo could feel the unspoken tension between them, a silent battle of influence and observation. Over the next hours, Mira continued to introduce Leo to the complexities of Zerithian politics. He learned about factions that valued tradition, groups that sought progress, and those who watched for any sign of weakness in leadership. Each encounter tested his patience and observation. He realized that intelligence alone was not enough. He would need courage, honesty, and empathy to navigate this intricate web. At one point, Mira took him to a balcony overlooking the city at night. The lights shimmered like stars, and the streams of energy between buildings pulsed with life. This city thrives on order, she explained. Yet hidden threats always exist. You must remain aware, even when all seems calm. Leo nodded, feeling a mix of anticipation and resolve. He understood that this was only the beginning of his challenges on Zerithia. Yet he also recognized that his honesty and courage had already earned Mira's trust. As they returned to the gardens, Mira spoke quietly. Your presence here is unprecedented, yet your honesty and courage create opportunities that few could imagine. Be aware, Leo. There are those who may test you, challenge you, or attempt to manipulate you. Observation and patience will guide your path. Leo felt a surge of. The morning sun rose over Zerithia, painting the palace gardens in shades of gold and violet. Leo adjusted his flight suit as he followed Princess Mira through the dew-covered paths. The previous night's lessons in observation and patience weighed on his mind. He knew that earning trust in this palace would require more than honesty. It would require action, courage, and quick thinking. Mira walked gracefully ahead, her eyes focused on the shimmering horizon. Today will not be easy, human, she said calmly. Some of my people are watching you closely. They will create challenges to test your intentions and your character. You must respond carefully using both your intelligence and your instincts. Leo nodded, understanding the gravity of her words.
I am ready, he said simply.
I will do my best to show that humans can be trusted and respected. Mira glanced at him with a faint smile, a subtle sign of encouragement. Their first stop was the Hall of Knowledge, a vast chamber filled with ancient records and holographic displays. The walls shimmered with information about Zerithia's history, politics, and culture. Several council members were already there, their expressions guarded and watchful. Leo could feel their scrutiny as soon as he entered. Every movement, every glance was being measured and evaluated. He reminded himself to stay calm and observe carefully before speaking. Mira introduced him formally. This is Leo, a human visitor. He comes with honesty and respect for our people. The council members nodded politely, but their eyes remained sharp. One of the elder councilors stepped forward, his skin pale with shifting patterns. Human, he said, his voice cold. Why should we trust you? Your species is known for recklessness. How do we know your intentions are pure? Leo took a deep breath. I cannot speak for all humans, but I can speak for myself. I am here to learn, to understand, and to respect your people. I will not deceive or harm you. My actions will prove my intentions. The counselor's eyes narrowed. Actions, you say? Then you shall be tested. He motioned to a nearby simulation chamber. You will face a challenge designed to measure your judgment, courage, and understanding. Succeed and you may earn our trust. Fail, and your presence here may be considered a threat. Leo felt a rush of determination. He had faced physical challenges before, but this was a test of mind, strategy, and character. He would need to remain sharp and true to his principles. The chamber doors opened to reveal a vast arena filled with holographic projections. The floor shifted beneath his feet, creating obstacles, moving platforms, and simulated hazards. Mira gestured for him to enter. Remember, she said, this is not only about skill. Observe, think, and act wisely. Show respect to all beings, even simulated ones, and demonstrate your courage. Leo nodded, stepping forward carefully. As he navigated the arena, the simulations became more complex. Creatures of light and energy appeared, challenging him with puzzles and tests of strategy. Leo used observation first, studying patterns and predicting movements. He relied on his instincts, honed from years of exploration to make decisions quickly yet wisely. When faced with a collapsing bridge, he calculated his jump with precision, landing safely on the next platform. At one point, a simulation projected a scenario of conflict between two alien species. Leo had to decide how to intervene. He noticed subtle details in the projections, signals of distress, expressions of fear, and signs of miscommunication. Instead of attacking or choosing sides, he used reasoning and diplomacy, guiding the holographic beings toward understanding and compromise. Mira observed quietly from the control room, clearly impressed by his approach. The challenges continued, each more complex than the last. Leo faced tests of courage, strategy, and empathy. In one scenario, he encountered a simulated child trapped under falling debris. Without hesitation, he risked his own safety to save the projection, showing both bravery and compassion. The counselors watched silently, their skepticism slowly giving way to respect. His actions demonstrated the qualities Mira had spoken of: honesty, courage, and understanding. After completing the simulations, Leo exited the arena to find Mira waiting for him. Her glowing eyes were filled with approval. "You have performed well, human," she said. "Your actions show that your words are true. You act with courage, intelligence, and empathy. These qualities are rare among visitors in most species." Leo felt a sense of relief and pride. The tests had been challenging, but he had relied on his human instincts and principles to succeed. However, Mira's expression turned serious. "There is another test," she said.
This one is less controlled.
"Some members of my council may attempt to manipulate you directly, using words and subtle influence. You must remain calm, honest, and perceptive. Watch carefully and trust only what you observe clearly." Leo nodded, understanding that this would require both mental strength and emotional balance. They returned to the council chamber, where several council members were waiting. Their expressions were polite but guarded. One counselor spoke first. "Human, you have completed the simulations, but now we must observe your character in real situations. You will dine with us, and your responses will be evaluated." Mira gestured for him to sit at the long table, where alien dishes glowed softly in the center. Leo studied the food carefully, recognizing ingredients that were safe and edible. The council began asking questions, some straightforward, some subtle and loaded with meaning. They asked about his home, his values, and his motivations. Leo answered honestly, showing respect for their culture while sharing insights into human life. He remained calm under subtle attempts to provoke reactions, never raising his voice or showing frustration. Mira observed closely, clearly pleased with his composure. During the meal, a counselor attempted to challenge him directly. "Human, your species is known for aggression. How can we trust that you will not act against us when opportunity arises?" Leo responded calmly. "Humans have courage and curiosity. That can be dangerous if unchecked, but it also allows us to protect, to learn, and to understand. I act honestly because deception weakens trust. My actions here are guided by respect and observation, not impulse." The counselor studied him silently, clearly impressed by the clarity of his reasoning. After the meal, Mira led Leo to a quiet garden pavilion. "You have shown patience and courage," she said. "The council observed your every move and your responses exceeded expectations. Yet you must understand that trust is not immediate. There will be continued observation and challenges. You have passed the first true test, but the journey is not over." Leo nodded, determined to continue earning respect and trust through action and honesty. Later, as they walked through the gardens, Mira spoke about the political tensions within the palace. "There are factions that resist change and outsiders. Some may test you in ways that are subtle, using words, gestures, and influence. Others may attempt more direct challenges. You must remain vigilant and true to your principles." Leo listened carefully, realizing that the palace was a complex web of influence and subtle power. Every word, every action mattered. As night fell, Mira led him to a balcony overlooking the city. The lights shimmered in patterns that reflected the energy flows of Zerithia. "Observe carefully, human," she said. "The world is not always as it seems. Hidden challenges exist everywhere, and perception is as important as action. You must learn to see the truth beneath appearances." Leo felt the weight of her words, understanding that the true test was not only about bravery but also insight, awareness, and discernment. Suddenly, a commotion erupted in the gardens below. Shadows moved quickly, and a group of palace guards ran toward the disturbance. Mira's eyes narrowed. "Some factions are acting against us," she said calmly. "We must assess the situation. Observe, but do not act rashly. This is a test of perception and judgment as much as courage." Leo watched intently, noticing the subtle movements, gestures, and intentions of those involved. He realized that even small actions could have significant consequences. Using his human instincts and careful observation, Leo identified the source of the disturbance. A small group of nobles attempted to manipulate a minor incident to test his reactions. Instead of responding with aggression, Leo calmly approached and addressed the situation with clarity and honesty. He spoke directly to the parties involved, guiding them toward understanding rather than confrontation. Mira observed from above, clearly impressed by his ability to navigate subtle challenges. After the incident was resolved without conflict, Mira descended to meet him. "You have acted wisely, human," she said. Your courage, honesty, and observation have prevented unnecessary strife. You demonstrate the qualities that earn trust in both our worlds. This is the true measure of your character. Leo felt a deep sense of accomplishment. He had faced tests of action, diplomacy, and insight, and had succeeded by relying on his human principles. Mira led him back to the pavilion, where the air was calm and the lights gentle. The day's challenges are over, but remember that the palace is full of observers. You will continue to face tests, both subtle and direct. Your strength lies not only in courage but in honesty, patience, and understanding. Leo nodded, feeling both respect and determination. He knew that the road ahead would be difficult, but he also knew that one human could. The sun rose slowly over Zerithia, bathing the palace gardens in gentle golden light. Leo walked beside Princess Mira, both of them quiet, reflecting on the events of the past days. The tests, the subtle challenges, and the simulations had revealed much about the palace, its people, and the alien world around them. But they had also revealed something about him, his own courage, honesty, and determination. These qualities, which had always guided him, were now the bridge that connected him to this extraordinary world. Mira led him to a large courtyard at the center of the palace. Crystal towers rose around them, catching the sunlight and scattering rainbows across the ground. The courtyard was filled with members of the council, palace guards, and advisors. All eyes turned toward Leo as he entered. He could feel the weight of their observation, the tension of anticipation. Today he would face the final test, not in simulations or private challenges, but in front of the people who held the authority to accept him. Mira spoke first, her voice carrying clearly across the courtyard. This human, Leo, has spent days in our palace learning our ways, observing our world, and demonstrating qualities that are rare and valuable. His courage, honesty, and respect have been tested and proven. The crowd was silent, some skeptical, some curious. Leo took a deep breath, standing tall, letting his presence reflect his confidence and sincerity. One of the elder counselors stepped forward. His skin shimmered faintly in the sunlight, and his eyes were sharp, filled with curiosity and suspicion. "You have completed tasks and faced tests, human," he said. "But how do we know that your actions were genuine? How do we know you will continue to act with respect and integrity when faced with temptation or danger?" Leo looked directly at him, his voice steady and calm. "I cannot speak for every human, but I can speak for myself. My actions come from honesty, courage, and respect. I do not act for personal gain or deception. What I have shown here is not performance, it is who I am." Mira observed closely, her glowing eyes reflecting approval. "Your words are honest, human, and your actions support them," she said. The counselor remained silent for a moment, clearly measuring Leo's sincerity. Then, with a slow nod, he turned to the others. "Observe him for yourselves," he said. "See his deeds, not his words. Let judgment be guided by what is real and true." Leo felt a mixture of relief and determination. He knew that the next steps would require him to demonstrate his character further, not only in controlled tests, but in real actions that could affect the palace and its people. Mira led him through the courtyard, showing him small tasks designed to observe behavior, teamwork, and integrity. From assisting guards in routine patrols to helping servants distribute food to the council chambers, Leo acted with care, attention, and respect for every individual. He noticed subtle glances from some council members, expressions of curiosity softening into acknowledgement. Mira's words had prepared them, but it was Leo's actions that earned their respect. Each interaction, though simple, revealed his sincerity. He did not boast or seek recognition. He simply acted with integrity, demonstrating that courage and honesty were not just words, they were a way of life. Later, Mira took him to the Hall of Records, a massive chamber filled with glowing scrolls and crystal displays. "Here the histories of our people are kept," she said. "You will study and understand them, but you must also demonstrate care. Many have come to this place seeking knowledge to exploit, yet you have shown respect. That is rare." Leo studied the records, learning about Zerithia's struggles, triumphs, and culture. He marveled at the depth of wisdom preserved in each record, and felt a growing sense of responsibility to honor that knowledge. During his study, an incident occurred that would become the final test of his character. A fire broke out in one section of the Hall of Records, threatening to damage centuries of history. Panic spread among the attendants, and several council members hesitated. unsure how to act without risking themselves. Without a moment of thought, Leo sprang into action. He guided the attendants to safety, using a combination of quick thinking, physical agility, and knowledge from his prior experience in emergencies. He found the source of the fire, a malfunction in a crystal energy conduit. Carefully, he used his tools to redirect the energy flow, preventing the fire from spreading. His actions were precise and courageous, yet executed with care for the safety of everyone involved. Mira watched from the balcony, her eyes reflecting pride and admiration. The council members who had doubted him now observed in awe. Leo had faced a real challenge, one that required bravery, intelligence, and selflessness. When the fire was contained, Mira descended to meet him. "You have done more than past tests or simulations," she said. "You have acted with courage, integrity, and care for others. This is the highest form of trust, and it has earned respect not through words but through deeds." Leo felt a surge of humility and pride. He realized that his human qualities, the honesty, courage,
and willingness to act for the greater good, had not only gained Mira's trust but had also begun to earn the respect of her people. After the incident,
the council gathered in the main courtyard once more. Mira spoke to them with authority and calm confidence. "This human Leo has shown the qualities that are valued in both our worlds. His courage, honesty, and respect have been tested in simulations, in observation, and in action. He has demonstrated understanding, empathy, and wisdom. I present him now as a trusted ally of Zerithia." A murmur of acknowledgement spread through the crowd. Some council members nodded, others looked thoughtful, and a few who had been skeptical now regarded Leo with cautious respect. The shift was subtle but powerful. His actions, guided by human principles, had earned the respect of a world that had never before seen a human in such a position of honor. Mira turned to Leo, her eyes glowing softly. "You have proven that humans can act with courage, honesty, and integrity. Your presence here is welcome and your contributions are valued. Your actions have bridged our worlds in ways words alone could not achieve." Leo felt a deep sense of accomplishment. He realized that his journey was not just about exploration, but about showing the strength of human character in a world that had never known it firsthand. The day continued with celebrations in the palace gardens. Music filled the air, and light danced across crystal structures as attendants, guards, and council members acknowledged Leo's presence. He participated humbly, assisting where needed, observing carefully and engaging with the people respectfully. Each interaction reinforced the bond he had begun to build with Mira and her people. He was no longer a visitor. He was a participant, an ally, and a bridge between worlds. During a quiet moment, Mira led him to a terrace overlooking the city. The lights of Zerithia glowed like stars, streams of energy pulsing through the structures. "You have shown that courage, honesty, and empathy are powerful," she said. "These qualities are rare, yet they can change perception and create trust where suspicion once ruled. You have done more than survive tests. You have inspired understanding." Leo smiled, realizing the truth of her words. The values he had carried from Earth, the desire to act with integrity, to help others, and to seek understanding, had become a force that shaped the alien world around him. Mira's expression softened as she looked at him. "Your journey here is far from over, but you have earned a place of respect and trust. You have shown that humans, though often underestimated, can act with wisdom and courage beyond expectation. Your presence here strengthens our worlds." Leo felt a surge of gratitude and pride. He had not only survived the challenges, but had also proven that one human could make a difference in a world that seemed impossible to navigate. That evening, as the twin suns set and the city lights shimmered across the palace, Leo and Mira walked through the gardens once more. The air was calm, and the atmosphere was filled with quiet celebration. Attendants moved gracefully, council members spoke softly among themselves, and the palace seemed alive with energy and respect. Leo realized that his actions had created ripples that extended beyond immediate events. They had changed perceptions, built trust, and inspired understanding. Mira paused, her eyes glowing softly in the fading light. "You have shown that courage and honesty are universal," she said. "They are qualities that transcend species, language, and culture. You have proven that humans can be trusted, respected, and valued in ways that go beyond expectation." Leo nodded, humbled by her words. He realized that this recognition was not just personal. It was a reflection of what humans could achieve when guided by integrity, empathy, and courage. As night fell over Zerithia, the gardens glowed with soft bioluminescence. Leo and Mira stood together, two beings from different worlds united by mutual respect and understanding. The palace was quiet, yet alive with the presence of watchers, learners, and those who now acknowledged the value of human character. Leo felt a deep connection not only with Mira, but with the world itself. A bond formed through honesty, courage, and action. The journey had been challenging, filled with tests, intrigue, and unexpected trials. But through it all, Leo had relied on the qualities that defined him as human. Honesty, courage, observation, empathy, and a willingness to act wisely had bridged gaps,